Today I'm going to show you how I made a full lace wig from scratch. You heard me right, from scratch. Let's go. Hi, my name is Glin. I'm a professional cosmaker and a cosplayer for over 10 years. I love cosplaying nostalgic characters, princesses, magical girls, and I make content about my projects and how I make them. So first I want to start with why I decided to make this crazy project, and this basically was a crazy idea that I had. I really wanted this wig to look very natural and I wanted the parts to be really organic and realistic. So I thought the best way to make that happen would be by making a lace front wig. But then the lace front wasn't enough. Since she has two high pigtails, the hair is pulled up from all around the head, so a 360 lace was needed, and also the part goes through all the head as well. So I thought might as well do a full lace cap. So that's what I did. I ordered a lace cap online and I fit it to my head. I marked the hairline and I also made some adjustments. This was very minor. It was like 2 darts over here in the back, and once the cap was done, it was time to move on to the hair. And for the hair, I had worked before with braiding hair, which has this very fine crimped texture. It's very easy to work with, it doesn't tangle as much and so on. I've used it before to make highlights and I really liked working with it a lot. And since I wanted a very specific color for Usagi's hair, this was my chosen method. So I picked up a bunch of colors. I used different shades of blonde, yellow, white and pink hair, and the pink hair is a reference to the original concept for Usagi and also Chibiusa, which is her daughter, as we all know. And then I took all these colors and I blended them together. And how did I do this? Well, it was a lot of bundles of hair, so I decided to split it into smaller bundles. And what I would do is I would lay the colors on top of each other and then split in half, pull them apart, and then do the same thing again. So one piece would go on top of the other, split, one on top of the other and split, and I kept going until I had a nice color. Oh, and I almost forgot, of course I added tinsel because it's Sailor Moon. She's sparkly and magical, of course we need glitter. Once I have all the hair mixed, it was time to crochet each little strand of hair onto this wig. And how I did is I put the wig cap on, I decided on the placement for my buns and I marked them with eyeliner, and then I started crocheting from there in like a circular motion so that it would be like I would go like this and going in a spiral. And the knots around the bun have more hair and are more sparse because that part is gonna be covered when I do the hairstyle, so there's no need to spend too much time there. However, my knots became smaller with less hair and the quantity of knots was also increasing as I got closer to the parts. And this allows for the full area to be completely covered in hair, as well as making it less bulky, so it will look more natural, more like real hair. Once I reached the hairline, my knots were really tiny with almost no hair. These knots were made using a crochet needle, which is like a little hook that allows you to open it, go through the lace, pick up some hair, close the loop, pull it through the lace and then knot the rest of the hair. And there are different sizes of needles for this, different hooks. Now for these crochet hook needles, there are many sizes. I basically used 2 different sizes and that was it, and it worked perfectly for me. But you can experiment with different sizes and see what works best for you. Now once I knotted all of the hair into this lace cap, it was time to work on the hairstyle. So what I did is I zip tied the hair into the pigtails and then I twisted the hair and made these little rose buns, and I kept trying it on just to see if it looked good on my head, on my face, because you know, even though I'm using an adjusted mannequin head, it's always nice to see how it actually looks in proportion to your face. And when I'm styling wigs, I keep trying them on just to make sure everything looks fine to me. And once I was finally happy with this, I bobby pinned it a lot so these buns would not go anywhere, and it was time to style the bangs. I really wanted them to be very curly and airy, so I cut them to the length I wanted and used thinning shears to make them thinner at the bottom, and I curled it a lot so it became these very fluffy angel hair bangs, which is exactly what I wanted. Now for the long tails of this hairstyle, what I did is I took the rest of the hair bundles that I had and I zip tied them so they would be very strong, and after zip tying I opened up the hair and I put some glue in there just to be sure the hair wasn't going to slip. And then once I have these single tails, I attach them underneath the buns so they would be covered, and then I use thinning shears to blend that hair with the rest of the hair that was already in the lace. And this is how this wig turned out. This process was not exactly difficult, it was just very time consuming. It took me months to make this happen. However, I am so happy with the result. It is exactly what I was going for. To me it looks very natural and as real as it can be for an anime wig, and it's very comfortable. I really didn't want to go for a helmet wig since those don't seem very comfortable to me, and I'm really happy with the result. It took a long time, but it was super worth it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you liked it, and if you have any questions about this project or the materials that I used, feel free to leave a comment down below with your question and I'll make sure to answer it. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and maybe follow me on my social media. I usually share a lot of my work in progress and I really love sharing which techniques I used and the things I learned with everyone. So yeah, I hope to see you there and see you next time. Bye bye!